30 of the County Governments Act. The provision of the Constitution is complemented by Section 30 of the County Governments Act. Madam Speaker, there is misconception which has been laid before the House by the County Assembly through their council that the buck stops with the governor. Madam Speaker, at no time does the governor make a decision alone. He is bound by law, and it has not been shown that the governor unilaterally formulated a policy without the CECs. Madam Speaker, the only role that the governor has under Section 30, Madam Speaker, the only role that being the CEO, you'll find that under Section 30L, the governor signs or causes to be published in the County Gazette notice of all important or formal decisions made by the governor or by the county executive committee. So when the executive committee formulates policy, then the governor gazettes. Madam Speaker, it was held by this House just a few months ago in the case of the governor for Kirinyaga, that is Her Excellency Anne Waiguru, that the governor cannot be vicariously held liable for anything that goes wrong within the county government. Madam Speaker, we've been taken through charges where it has been alleged that Procurement Law and Public Finance Management Act have been violated, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, and sorry when I stop talking, it's because I'm used to addressing the court. Madam Speaker, as it is, nexus has to be shown, that a connection has to be shown between the act complained about and the governor, especially when it comes to matters procurement and matters Public Finance Management Act. Madam Speaker, the mover of the motion, when he was being cross-examined, admitted that the accounting officers appointed in the county government of Nairobi.
Yeah, Nyamu and the council, that light tells you that your first 20 minutes is over. So we are trying to help you manage your time. So your first 20 minutes is over, and you are now in the next 20 minutes. But it's how you agree.
Very well, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it was through cross-examination, it was admitted that there are different county accounting officers. Madam Speaker, that takes us to Section 148 of the Public Finance Management Act, Madam Speaker. In that particular act, Section 148, it is provided that the CEC Finance appoints county accounting officers, who in this case are heads of different departments. And under Section 149, it is those particular accounting officers that are appointed to deal with matters procurement. Madam Speaker, the CEC Finance, being the head of Treasury, is the one that deals with matters public finance, and the governor would only deal with such matters at policy formulation level and not directly. And my lady, through these authorities, Madam Speaker, you'll notice that a governor cannot be held vicariously for any mistakes or violations of the law by officers of the county government. Madam Speaker, it was incumbent upon the mover of the motion to proceed and have any officer whose department he has a query for purposes of oversight, for purposes of asking any question or seeking for any information. This was not done, and therefore the same cannot be visited upon the governor. Madam Speaker, as it is, it was indicated through these proceedings that there are matters that are pending in court, Madam Speaker. I would urge this Honorable House to consider disregarding the charges that have been referred in relation to matters that are before court, Madam Speaker. It has been shown, contrary to what has been submitted by the County Assembly, it has been demonstrated very clearly by the governor that no money meant for bursary was transferred towards payment of any contractors or lawyers. And nothing has been shown that money that was meant for bursaries was paid to lawyers and or contractors. And although this House is not bound by the criminal-based principles of justice, it is incumbent upon this House to be very cautious, especially when it deals with the rights of the governor under Article 38 of the Constitution, and also the rights of the people of Nairobi who elected the governor. This House should consider not to punish the people of Nairobi who elected the governor simply because one individual has decided that they move the motion. This motion was moved out of malice, and we urge this Honorable House to find that none of those charges have been substantiated against the governor, and to discharge the governor of all the charges. Madam Speaker, at this level, I would urge my learned friend, Mr. Odieki, to come in and deal with the details in relation to the charges.
Thank you.
Now, Madam Speaker, honorable members, before you today, and you will allow me because of my age to speak without this, before you today is a motion that will go to the annals of history, because you are no longer sitting as honorable members, you are sitting as judges. Now, I wish to give 10 reasons why this motion should fail. And in the process, I will also answer the concerns raised by the honorable senators for various counties. Reason number one, Madam Speaker, there is no proper service. From the Senate to the governor, there is a service. There is a process server who served. But from the county assembly to the governor, there is no proper service. Because they have already told us that the governor was locked out of the office. They are saying they served the governor in his office. They have not disclosed which office, because already we know he was barred from going to office. So that is ground one why, Madam Speaker, this motion must. And by a necessary extension, then I am answering the concerns raised by Senator Matsayo that the governor was not accorded a fair hearing. Madam Speaker, if you look at Article 50, Clause 2, B and C, it says that any charges must be served upon the other respondent in good time so that they have a chance to prepare their case and they know what charges they are facing. But if this is a removal on integrity, then when you interrogate the process which was used to remove the governor, it was not transparent, it was not accountable, it is not verifiable, it does not comply with principles of good governance, so it violates each and every value of Article 10, 2A up to F of the Constitution. And Madam Speaker, if you look at the architects of this Constitution, they made sure that they separated laws, both at national government and at county government. Why? Because they wanted to emphasize the doctrine of separation of powers. That is the essence of Article 174I. It says checks and balances and separation of powers between the county executive and the county assembly. So, Your Ladyship, Madam Speaker, this has not been complied, and I can see, because we are all Christians and Muslims and the other religions, we all believe in certain values. The governor is a human being. We are not angels. Angels that live in heaven. People may make mistakes, but Madam Speaker, I'm submitting that the mistakes that have been highlighted here, or omissions, do not constitute impeachable offenses. Impeachment constitutes serious crimes and misdemeanors. If you look at all constitutions of the world, there is no serious crime that has been highlighted here. If it is outbursts of freedom of speech where people have spoken, they can be forgiven. These are our children. But it is not a ground of impeachment. Madam Speaker, I wish to answer the same. Madam Nyamunga, the governor continued with giving parcels to everybody. He has never discriminated. This is a governor who carries bodies once people die from Nairobi to all parts of Kenya. Not many people can do that. He gives people water in the slums. The governor listens. So, Your Ladyship, senators, honorable senators and Madam Speaker, I am submitting that suspicion, no matter how serious, cannot be the basis of impeachment or conviction on impeachment. Madam Speaker, I wish to highlight to you that with this age of technology, WhatsApp, Instagram, and all the others, you see a lot of things in the internet, but they are not criminal in nature. That is a social challenge. That's why we now have artificial intelligence to address some of those issues. But we have not some of these new emerging challenges of artificial intelligence. So we're saying, let us not measure the standard of this governor so high, yet when we go to our homes, our own children watch all those things, and we do nothing. Let us be fair. Before we remove the speck on other people's eyes, let us move the road. The mic, but I'm moving. So the third reason, Madam Speaker, why this should fail, and this will answer the issue concerns raised by Senator Orengo and Senator Ochiro Ayako, that we crystallize the issues. The question that calls for answers is whether the conduct of the county assembly met the threshold to remove. Our submissions that it never met. And let me tell you, via Kuru, by 2022, half of you will be governors. In 2024, we will be here defending you when you are being impeached. The question you must ask yourself is this: will the law be followed? Because the most experienced people who can be next governors are. So we don't want a situation where devolution is undermined because of whims and the like. Sorry. Madam Speaker, you have me 3 minutes because moving.
I think they'll spend half a minute to change your microphone.
So, Madam Speaker.
Just a sec, let them want you to be on record and everything.
Yes. So we want to crystallize, and I'm going to crystallize 6 issues very quickly in succession because of time constraints. And that I will answer Senator Orengo and Senator Ochira Ayako, who raised that crystallize what is it. Madam Speaker, number 1, Article 2.4 of the Constitution says that any action or omission done in contravention of this Constitution is invalid. Madam Speaker, the moment they fail to meet the legal threshold in an open, transparent, and accountable manner, which could be very viable, because up to now we have asked them, where are the videos of voting? They can't furnish. Where is the list, the proper list, and the averments which will accompany the notes of motion? They have nothing. Madam Speaker, I submit that adding nothing into nothing equals to nothing. So you cannot bring a lot of nothing and cumulatively you say you have added a lot of things which amounts to nothing. I submit that whatever they have done, the invalidity of this entire process is that the initial beginning, the notes of motion has no grounds. I mean, has grounds, but has no affirmations, has no list, proper list, and has no confirmation, video confirmation, because voting was through virtual technology partly. So the process is not verifiable. We cannot ascertain what happened. And in view of that uncertainty, I beseech you, as honorable members of the Senate, to reject this motion as premature. Point number 2, Your Ladyship, why it should succeed. If you look at Article 10, it enjoins all state organs, and the county assembly is a state organ, and it enjoins all individuals and all state officers to ensure that the rule of law, constitutionalism, and due process is followed. If they breach the same constitution, the same values, then they should not expect any protection when they come to the Senate, because the Senate is primary objective is to protect revolution, protect the rule of law, and protect due process. That is another reason why it should fail. Number 3, Madam Speaker, look at Article 20, Clause 4, A and B. It says that any action must be justifiable in a democratic society and in the spirit of human rights, fair play, and the rule of law. So the enduring value in our constitutionalism is the rule of law, democracy, fairness. It is all lacking when you look at it. Sonko may be having challenges because we are Christians, let us speak the truth. But the challenges are not impeachable challenges. It's just that you have a naughty kid, you have to forgive him and we move on. Now, thirdly, you look at Article 47.1 and Article 47.2. It says that if there is an administrative action, and their action from the beginning was administrative, it must be fair, it must be lawful, it must be procedurally correct. Madam Speaker, this process fails in all those ingredients in Article 47.2. That is the 4th ground why this should succeed. And I believe I have crystallized in very plain terms why this motion should fail. Finally, on the issues raised by the senators, if you look at it, Senator Cheriot, he invited a copy, he sought a copy summoning the governor and a copy of the answered. Because this is a transparent process. We have engaged in activities in the Senate now. We can go to the answered and verify what transpired. There is nothing we can lay our hands on, Madam Speaker, to ascertain what happened. Madam Speaker, the rest of the things will be dealt by my learned colleague, and I want to conclude I want to see whether I've addressed all the senators. Senator Ongeri of Kisii County is my judge elder. He raised another issue. The county assembly, whether the county assembly denied the governor access. And this has a constitutional implication. Because if you are denied access, and we are telling you as adults who went to represent the governor, and they rejected, they denied us access, and we're saying that has got a constitutional implication of the right to be represented by a council of your choice. That is an issue you must determine, Madam Speaker. And finally, Senator, process was not followed. Senator Fonandi, I think, the process was not followed. Madam Speaker, the entire process, whether constitutional, whether legal, whether regulatory, was ignored by the county assembly. So they cannot come out now in the Senate trying to say full rule of law, due process, when they themselves have not followed the rule of law and due process from the beginning. For those grounds and others to be stated, my learned colleague, we play that you reject the motion as premature, return it to the county assembly, and dismiss it.
Thank you. Next, Council.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, honorable members. I humbly request this honorable House to consider the implications of an impeachment whose foundation has not been established. 5 senators, 5 in their inquiries asked the county assembly, provide us with the evidence that you had the numbers, provide us with the evidence there was proper voting, provide us with the evidence that the impeachment process was fair to the governor, provide us with the evidence that you had of compliance. None was provided. In deference to the question asked by Senator Madzayo, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I beg to have a rejoinder in Kiswahili. Swala ambalo Mheshimiwa Madzayo ameuliza ni muhimu sana, na tegemeo la jumba la Senate ambalo ni la heshima ni kwamba tegemeo la utaratibu wa sheria utafuatwa.
This is TV 47. Happy holidays.
Half an hour to the top of the hour coming up. It is Governor Sonko's day with fate as senators vote on his impeachment motion. Sonko had his day to defend himself. Also tonight, health workers and the government are yet to agree on the ongoing strike. The talks are yet to bear any fruits. Plus, Julius Mwambua, who was jailed for life after being framed by her daughter for rape, is finally free.
Mimi hawa watu wote nimeshawasamehe kutoka mbindi yangu toka Simwende.
We have that and much more lined up for you, but I take you back to the Senate where senators are hearing the impeachment motion against Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko. See you at the top of the hour.
Husishwa katika utaratibu huu. Je, alihusishwa? Hakukuwa na ushahidi. Public participation kwa kimombo. Hakuna ushahidi, maseneta waheshimiwa. Hata mmoja kutoka kwa ward ya mtekelezi wa huu mswada hakusema nilitembea kwa ward yangu na nikawauliza maswala ya wakazi wa ward yangu. Mimi kama diwani wenu, je, jameni, mngependa nitekeleze haya? Hamna huo ushahidi. Na je, maseneta waheshimiwa, mkiwa hapa mmeridhika? Kuna ubainifu wa utaratibu wa sheria kufuatwa ambao umemakinika kwa kuwa utakuwa ni ushahidi mkamilifu wa nyinyi kumng'atua gavana wa Nairobi. Na waomba na wasihi muangalie huo shahidi, na mkiridhika ya kwamba umekosekana, hamna kamwe kutekeleza ombi kama hilo. Na nadhani nimejibu Senator Mathayo kwa lugha ambayo kwa heshima kubwa aliagiza ajibiwe. Na Mheshimiwa Pareno pia kauliza, sorry, Madam Speaker, Honorable Pareno requested and asked, is there a nexus between Joyce Kenyanjui, who was a witness from the county assembly, and His Excellency the Governor, in her own evidence, which was tendered in support of the issue of the 2.6 million that allegedly moved from the county to the governor's daughter? She had this to say in description of her own self. And this is volume 9C at page 1120. And she said that I, Joyce Nungari Kinyanjui, I was an employee of Nairobi City County in the position of Director, Intergovernmental Relations and Head CEC Secretariat. And in that capacity, she says, and I quote, in paragraph 2, I received a letter from the CEO, Council of Governors, dated 30th November 2017 and received on 1st March 2017, inviting First Ladies of various counties to attend to the 62nd CSW conference in New York. Honorable members, this did not originate from the governor. It came from the national government. There is a formal invitation. His Excellency has sworn an affidavit saying, I did not have a penny of that money moved from the county assembly into my daughter's account. But there is this notion, honorable members, that His Excellency has used county resources to have a helicopter. Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence that the governor's daughter was moving from this or other place using county funds? Nowhere. It was requested by Honorable Murkomen, Senator, where are the Zoom face and voice recordings? Honorable members. Madam, Mr. Speaker, sir, I apologize. Mr. Speaker, sir, where is the evidence that voting took place at the county assembly as alleged by the Nairobi City County, such as would meet the threshold of the 2/3 MCAs? Honorable members, I urge, I beg, and request, when you consider these realities which go to the practical threshold, you will be disappointed that the county assembly has not availed you that material. On the issue requested by Honorable Nyamonga about the bursaries, Miss Nyamonga, I believe, the bursaries were, and she asked, were they continued? Miss, I apologize. Oh, I apologize. Please accept my apologies. Mr. Speaker, sir, I tender my apologies. No disrespect meant. And she asked, were the bursaries disbursed after that suspension? Madam Speaker, you did not, Mr. Speaker, sir, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, apologize. Mr. Speaker, sir, you did not hear a rejoinder from the county assembly, not any evidence to rebut the issue of diverted bursary funds. Money meant for children in Nairobi County, in the slums of Mukuru kwa Jenga, in the slums of Mathare, was being diverted by MCAs. Those MCAs of the Nairobi City County Assembly now want you to say that impeach His Excellency the Governor, Honorable Ms. Nyamunga, on account of that illegal action by the honorable MCAs. The stoppage was done, but it was revived after the payment came through because of the financial year, and that is in the affidavit of His Excellency. You are told that money went in the sum of about 260 million away from that fund. And the question is there a shred of evidence that you are shown that that money moved from the county assembly fund into the governor's account? What you're being told, allegedly, it went into the hands of lawyers. No nexus was demonstrated between these lawyers receiving these funds, 4 cases prosecuted, and the governor allegedly, ostensibly, receiving this money, pocketing it. None. A question was asked by Honorable Senator Haji, and the question was to His Excellency the Governor if he was furnished with the impeachment before the impeachment evidence and proceedings before the 3rd of December 2020. And the second limb to that was, why didn't the governor appear before the assembly? And the rejoinder is that there was no evidence tendered to His Excellency the Governor, such as he would have responded to, and by reason of which he was handicapped. Honorable members, how can anyone respond to that which has not been furnished on him? But you can see, honorable members, the events which His Excellency has demonstrated. He laments about the mover of the motion from the county assembly and says, you have embezzled 823,000. You are supposed to go to Dubai. You did not go. He admitted on the floor, as he testified. Honorable members, would you close your eyes to that? That it is consequent upon that complaint in a flurry of movement. And this also answers Honorable Senator Madzayo's question in relation to that. Bwana Speaker, sir, kujibu Mheshimiwa Madzayo ni kama kibunga kilimkumba gavana aliposajilisha katika idara ya DCI lalama la kwamba huyu MCA kuna pesa ambazo za county ilikuwa asafiri aende Dubai na akakubali hakusafiri kwenda Dubai. Gavana akaagiza hebu mfanye uchunguzi, lakini siku 2 baadaye akavamiwa. Hakupewa ushahidi, hakupewa nafasi ya kusikizwa, hakupewa hata hayo majina ambao wanadai MCA walipiga kura. Na hii leo juu ya jitihada zake yeye mwenyewe akasema na akaagiza, mimi sitaki kuwa mlafi wala mlagaji.
Kanzo,
sorry
to interrupt you,
yes,
but our standing orders require that you use one language.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So you started with English. Kiswahili, you can only use it when you are responding to somebody who has
Mr. Speaker, sir,
responded. I have ruled, just proceed.
I apologize.
Okay,
it's because...
Let him complete, let him finish what he's saying. Okay, I've made a ruling, let him proceed. Since you are good in both languages, just proceed, let's finish.
Mr. Speaker, sir, it was in deference, in sheer respect. The ruling, Mr. Speaker, sir, from Madam Speaker, was that in our submissions, we have the rejoinder to the specific questions that were raised by your honorable members. In deference to that ruling, I had then to switch to Kiswahili. I meant no disrespect, honorable members. Thank you very much. So that I can conclude that remark in rejoinder, if I may finish. that just one Kiswahili with your kind permission so that I can wind up? Thank you. Senator Madzayo, huyu MCA akawa wakati ule yeye jina lake limepelekwa kwa DCI na governor. Na governor awali akashuhudia kwamba kulikuwa na mabilioni mengi ambao alikuwa yeye amealikwa njoo ule pamoja nasi, na governor amekataa. Sasa ikawa huu mswada umeidhinishwa dhidi yake, na katika haraka ile akajikuta kama amepigwa na kibunga. Hapewi ushahidi. Hamna ushahidi. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have answered that. Let me wind up and say, Honorable Senator Linturi and Honorable Senator Cheruyot ask very important questions as I wind up. The list of documents supplied to this Honorable House, Honorable members, does not include, does not show where those specific votes came from. Who voted? How did they vote? All we're being told is that 88 people, 88 honorable members voted. However, His Excellency the Governor called a witness, an expert in handwriting, who impugned 5 of those alleged votes. That, Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, it goes to the threshold. You don't have the threshold sufficient to give you this impeachment. It must fail. Honorable members, let's consider Kenya. Let's consider Nairobi. Let's just for a moment introspect and ask ourselves, if we were to impeach His Excellency the Governor, does that provide a solution to Nairobi? If we were to impeach His Excellency the Governor, is that the most expedient action we should take? Honorable members, I invite you to also consider Nairobi City County has a peculiarity to it. The lack of a deputy governor is informed by the pendency of 5 court proceedings immediately upon the resignation of the deputy governor who was then elected with the governor. Unfortunately, not even a week after, a case was filed in the High Court. Upon its filing, the governor was then stopped from appointing a deputy governor. As we speak, petition 1 of 2020 is pending before the High Court. Honorable members, what are we accosted by? Where will we leave devolution? Is this an opening for the executive to take over Nairobi? We must consider which is the lesser evil. Let the MCAs sit down with their governor. You have the opportunity to say, we want to pull you to line. We want to have you comply. Let them even file a report with you every month. Have you complied with our demands that these issues be investigated by the EACC? We have a report. We know, rather than taking Nairobi back to the ballot or by the formation of a commission. The formation of a commission would lead us nowhere else but in the hands of the executive. Honorable members, why is devolution going to end? I beg, Mr. Speaker, sir, as I conclude, His Excellency the Governor stood here under oath and said that he is being attacked for his being a stickler to the law, accused of not releasing money to NMS, but showing it is being stopped by a court process, but he's being blamed, saying that money should not be stolen from the bursary kit, but he's being accused, saying that his MCAs should work, but he's being accused. Honorable members, I know you have in you had hurt to give devolution effect. I ask you as I close, the issue of 88 MCAs whose vote is in question vis-a-vis the future and the fate of Nairobi. Where do we stand? Vote no. Because tomorrow there can be another impeachment motion that follows the law based on facts, based on evidence. But today, if you impeach the governor, in our current economic situation, the hardships of the common Nairobian being experienced, him or her never being consulted about this. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, where are we headed? Where are we taking Nairobi? Let that impeachment, if it be founded, it can always be done later. But not with this. Not with this. There is nothing to enable us to do it. Thank you very much, honorable members. And for those honorable members that I have not been able to elucidate your query, I apologize. On behalf of His Excellency, let's think about Nairobi. There's another chance. If impeachment comes, let it be without doubt. I beg. Thank you, honorable members. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you so much. Honorable Senators, our two parties, the Nairobi City County Governors team and the County Assembly team, let me take this opportunity to thank you for your submissions. The senators have listened. They have been very patient. And now the hour of reckoning has come. Therefore, the next step, according to our program, is to release you briefly so that the Senate goes into a closed session and a bell will be rung for voting, which will be open. So at that point, you are free if you want to attend.